There are literally thousands and thousands of different watches available, and thousands of different types of watches from different companies with different histories, and a lot of homage watches and all of that. But when it comes down to watches, when it really comes down to watches, only a very few watches can really deserve to be called a legend, to be called a legendary watch. And in this series, I'm going to look at 4 watches from my personal collection, which I consider and many other people consider to be legendary watches. So a lot of watches are legendary, and I have a lot of watches I would really like to add to my collection to get more legendary watches. But only a few watches are truly legendary, and here we have one of them. This is the TAG Heuer Monaco. And the TAG Heuer Monaco is a true legend among watches. I have 5 personal reasons of why I think that this watch deserves a trophy of being one of the most legendary watches ever produced, and a watch that will never ever be surpassed in its historical value in the horology of the world. This is the TAG Heuer Monaco, and you may know a lot about this watch, but here are my 5 personal reasons of why this watch is a true legend to me, and why it's a watch I really enjoy in my collection, and which I will never ever let go of. So first of all, the TAG Heuer Monaco is a legendary watch because of the history. So introduced in 1969 as an honor of the Monaco Grand Prix in Formula 1, TAG Heuer introduced this watch for Heuer watches. Back then, the company was called Heuer and not TAG Heuer. That happened later on. But it was introduced in 1969, and it wasn't really a very big success. It wasn't a big sales item. It wasn't a watch that a lot of people were buying, but it was a true technical innovation because it was the first automatic chronograph watch. So up till 1969, when Heuer introduced this watch, all chronograph watches actually had to be manually wound by the crown. This was the first chronograph watch to ever have an automatic movement, so it rewinds, it gets wound from the movement of your wrist, and you can wind it by the crown as well. So introduced in 1969, a completely new design, a square watch which hadn't been seen a lot back then. Also, it really first became a legend in 1971 because of Steve McQueen, the famous American actor. He wore this watch in the 1971 movie Le Mans. And in Le Mans, he wore this watch all of the movie, and it became a true legend. And today, a lot of TAG Heuer Monaco fans actually refer to the Monaco not as the Monaco Grand Prix Formula 1 watch, but as the Steve McQueen watch. So that was my first reason. The second reason, I was just touching upon this in my first reason, is actually the design. You don't see any other watches with such an iconic design. And the design spectrum of watches is a big point when we talk about watches, and legendary watches especially, because the legendary watches like the Submariner, like the Daytona, like the Monaco, like the Speedmaster, the Seamaster, the El Primero, and a lot of other watches, they are true legends in horology because of the design as well. And the TAG Heuer Monaco is a true legend because of the design. So the square case, it wears kind of like a small brick on your wrist. On the original version, you had the crown actually on the left side of the watch. In this reissue, which is from the 2000s, I believe this is from 2005 to 2007, the crown is placed at the right side, but back then they actually opted to place the crown at the left side, and it was not because it was more utilitarian to have it placed there. It was actually because they just wanted to show off. So they wanted to tell everybody that, hey, see, look at Heuer, we can do a watch that is a chronograph which rewinds automatically, an automatic chronograph watch, and we can even place the crown on the other side of the watch. So it was showing off. And in other reissues, you can also find this watch in another caliber, and you will find it more true to the original with the crown on the left side. So I think the design, the beautiful blue face, the 2 subdials, the bicompact subdials, the red hands on the subdials, and Of course, also the chronograph hand. Let me just engage the chronograph here. Everything about this watch is just a triumph in design, I would say. A true legend. You'll find no other watches that really compares to the TAG Heuer Monaco when it comes to design. So my third reason is that it's a very original, one-of-a-kind watch, and this really also touches upon the whole design issue I was just talking about. But I think this is a true icon because you see no other watch like this, and I really, truly, firmly believe this is one of the most masculine watches you can find. This is a true man's watch. This is not in no way a unisex watch. And it's actually also not a watch that could ever be worn by a person with a very slim wrist. This is a man's watch. It wears very prominently on the wrist. Just look at how it wears on my wrist here. I have a 7.1 inch wrist, 17.5 centimeters, and it is a true prominent watch. This is even all the way down to 38 millimeters. The other versions are 39 millimeters. This just tells you that this is a very masculine statement watch, in my opinion. I really think that this is a very masculine, manly watch. So my fourth reason, well, it's the whole movie history and the whole cultural history that this watch encapsulates. So of course, Steve McQueen in Le Mans, this is called the Steve McQueen watch, and it's because of Le Mans and Steve McQueen, one of the most famous actors of all time, that this watch became a legend. And today still, it really manages to become a legend in TV and movie history. So we don't only talk about Steve McQueen and Le Mans, because if you remember what has been called the best TV series ever, Breaking Bad, the main character, Walter White, he actually gets this watch as a present, and he wears this watch, and he actually later in the series, when he decides that he's going to actually end his criminal run and he's actually expecting to die, he takes off this watch. And it was so amazing that even so many years after that this watch became a true legend, more than 40 years after, or about 40 years after that this watch became a true legend, it actually managed to again revitalize itself in TV and movie history, because it was a part of Breaking Bad and Walter White. And this watch really is displayed many times in this very amazing TV series, which is again called one of the best TV series ever in TV history. So for some reason it managed to actually again become an icon on the screen. So my fifth and last reason is that I really think this is a super versatile watch. It's a sports watch, as we of course know it as a sports watch, as a racing watch. Even though it only have one chronograph counter, which is a 30-minute counter, it doesn't have any tachymeter, so you can measure the speed of the racing cars. It is considered a sporting chronograph, but it is just as much, in my opinion, a dress watch. I think this is one of the very few chronograph watches, and even a big masculine chronograph watch like this, which can also become a dress watch. So I think this goes with any occasion. You can wear this with a t-shirt or a polo shirt in the summer. You have this beautiful sunburst blue dial and the red hands and the white biconvex counters, which really just gives it a lot of play and a lot of life. But I also think you can easily wear this watch as a dress watch. So going to a formal occasion or going to a wedding or something like that, you can easily wear the TAG Heuer Monaco watch. So which Monaco do you like? We have a lot of different versions. We have this one, we have the reissue, we have the older versions, we have the black, we have the white, we have the new Golf version, which looks amazing. Which Monaco do you like? I believe if you have the wrist size and you feel that you can pull off wearing this watch, you can easily find a Monaco for you. But my suggestion would be the original blue color. So if you want this reissue or the original with the non-sunburst dial, it would definitely be for you. This one comes with plexiglass, this beautiful boxed plexiglass, which is also amazing. A big tribute to how the Monaco was made back in the day. So a statement watch which is super versatile. I hope you enjoyed this one of 4 videos I'm doing here on my channel, just really celebrating 4 legendary watches. Remember to leave me a thumbs up. Tell me why you really love and admire the Monaco, and tell me of watches you consider to be true legendary horological statements in the world of watches. Remember to subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.